We now bring in CBS Sports golf writer Patrick McDonald, and Chris Gotterup gets it done for his third career PGA Tour victory. I mean, he started with the 63 Thursday, finished up with the 64 Sunday. But what did you see out of Gotterup as he secured the win in Hawaii?
I saw a lot of shot making, Kiana, which Waialae Country Club kind of lends itself to for these players, like you mentioned, open with that 63 in some really windy conditions. And the conditions kind of subsided here on Sunday, but Gotterup was able to chew off a lot on these dog legs with his power and his shot making. He's known for this low fade that he hits out there. He used that to precision today and was able to match that on the greens as well. Put himself in the fairway a ton, was able to was able to hit a ton of greens in regulation. And then we saw in the greens, especially in the middle portion of that back nine, he made a 22-footer on 12, a 26-footer on 13, and was kind of able to put the tournament on ice there on 17, hit a really nice 9-iron against the wind, was able to hold it up, put it to 11 feet, knocked that in, was able to have a real stress-free walk on number 18 to the victory.
Let's rewind for a brief second because Gotterup, he missed the cut at the Sony Open last year and fell to 205th in the world. But I mean, since then, he's won the Scottish Open, finished third at the Open Championship, and now jumps into the top 20 with this one. Is he a guy maybe you can see contending in the majors this season?
I think so. And you look at where he has played well, the Renaissance Club. He looked Rory McIlroy right in the in that Scottish Open win, and he actually credited a caddy switch mid-season last year for some of his success. He's had a couple brothers on the bag, he's had some buddies on the bag, and then he got a real caddy, a real professional on the bag, and he's really credited him as a pseudo therapist, right? They have a real matching personality. They're both pretty chill out there. Gotterup's really not going to give you too much in terms of personality out on the golf course until he's out rope. So you look at his statistical profile, Kiana, and he's super powerful off the tee. He's one of the longest hitters on the PGA Tour. He has a lot of different windows where he can hit his shots, which lends itself to major success. So if he keeps on stacking up experiences like this, I wouldn't be surprised if he's contending for major championships in the near future.
Okay, by the way, I like the pseudo therapist we've got going on there. But let's talk about one of the big stories coming out of Hawaii this week. That's 62-year-old Vijay Singh, who returned to the PGA Tour on a career money list exemption. I mean, he put forth a pretty memorable performance, making the cut and finishing 5 under on the week. But what did you make of his performance and how the PGA might consider future exemptions?
Yeah, I think Vijay cashed this one in because he knows this exemption might be going away in future years, especially with the way that the PGA Tour is trending with smaller field sizes, smaller membership. The schedule is expected to change in 2027, maybe 2028, if they can get all their ducks in a row. Vijay obviously received a ton of outside criticism. People were not happy that he cashed in on this. He's about to turn 63 years old, but hey, he beat guys like Colin Morikawa, Keegan Bradley, Tom Kim, Brian Harmon this week, and he finished inside the top 50, made his first cut in the non-Masters since the 2020 Memorial. This was his first PGA Tour start since the 2021 Honda Classic. That tournament has changed names like 4 times since then to give you kind of a description of how long it has been since Vijay has played on the PGA Tour. So he earned it in my book, right? He earned over $70 million on the PGA Tour. He's allowed to take this exemption, and hey, he played some pretty good golf this week too.
It was kind of like riding a bike, like they say for Vijay. But nonetheless, I do want to turn our attention to the American Express next week. World number 1, Scottie Scheffler, making his season debut. He won 6 times last season. He has 4 top 25 finishes at the Amex. So what are your expectations for Scottie in this tournament?
More of the same, right? And I think for Scottie, one way he can improve compared to 2025, like you mentioned, he had 6 wins last year, but he got off to a little bit of a slow start coming back from that offseason hand injury. He was making ravioli with his wife during Christmas, got some glass stuck in his hand, and he actually had to skip this tournament last year because he had that procedure on his hand. And he went into the offseason saying, hey, how can I get better compared to 2025? And he identified his endurance as the one area where he can get better. He's been in the gym, he's added some speed, and you look at his last 12 events in 2025, that's where all 6 of his wins came as well. So I'm expecting a big season from Scottie Scheffler as well. If you're looking for an area to keep an eye on for Scheffler, it's always going to come down to the putter, I think. He turned into a top 25 putter on the PGA Tour last season. If he does that again this year, I expect more than 6 wins in 2026.
Okay, you talk about him working on building his endurance and expecting a big season out of him. So are you taking Scottie or the field in this one?
Oh, anytime I'm going to go with Scotty, right? At this rate, like I mentioned, he won 6 out of his last 12 starts on the PGA Tour. He has a pretty good record here at PGA West. And the only thing that has really held him back from the winner's circle, I think, at this tournament with how many birdies are flying out there in Palm Springs is that putter. And so if he putts like Scottie Scheffler putted last year, I think he'll knock off that first one.
I think it's safe. It's like a sure bet. It's kind of like you don't bet against the GOAT. You kind of got to stick with Scottie Scheffler in these kind of situations. With that getting set, beginning on January 22nd from La Quinta, California. Patrick, as always, we appreciate you stopping by. Scottie Scheffler leading the way as the tour heads to La Quinta for the American Express next week. Then it's the Farmers Insurance Open and Waste Management Phoenix Open. Weekend coverage of both you can find on and on Paramount Plus.